Hello everyone, this is ACHAIA Akaya, and we are still in round 1 action. We are in the round of 32 right now, and we are on one of the games is Gemini versus 2Week here. Gemini is playing as random in this tournament, and 2Week is playing as Terran. So basically, 2Week is going to be in the dark until he is able to scout Gemini to find out exactly what race he is and what strategy he's going. So scouting even more important for him this game than in any other standard game where you absolutely know what race you're going against. And it looks like Gemini is going to spawn as the purple Terran in the lower left corner. And of course, 2Week is going to be the green Terran in the upper right here. So we will see a Terran versus Terran. This map is Blistering Sands if you have not seen it before. It's been around since the beta started, and it is a 1v1 map. So both players will know where the other one is spawning at the beginning of the game. Of course, also I wanted to note 2Week is playing under the account Black Rose. I'm not sure if this is an issue, or I'm not sure if this is a friend's account if he's on the EU servers with his normal account and he has to play on a US account, so he's borrowing someone's account, or if his name just doesn't match what his tag is on the site for the tournament. But anyways, he is going to go for a pretty typical opener here, putting a supply depot down at the entrance to his base to block off that ramp right at the beginning here, and of course we'll probably end up seeing that finished off with another barracks and supply depot. And going down to the base of Gemini, he is doing the exact same thing right now, so it looks like both players probably going to go for a little bit more macro build because we do not see any crazy proxy strategies or anything trying to go up as of yet, and both players just cranking out SCVs at this point. A barracks now going up for Gemini at the entrance, as well as for Black Rose, and I do like the placement of this barracks for Gemini. It looks like he might be able to just throw an add-on in there and get nearly a tight wall off right in that area. There may be a small gap, I'm not sure, it's hard to tell right now, but that may allow him to completely wall off with just basically 2 buildings and an add-on. And it looks like 2Week is going to have an SCV scouting in his base. He was unable to get that blocked off in time. So Gemini is going to be able to scout through his base. One quick note too, I don't know if anybody else is aware of this or not, but Gemini is the other official caster of this tournament, and of course he cannot cast his own games, so I am going to cast his games that he's playing in, which good luck to him. Hopefully he makes it far into the tournament, but depending on how far he makes it, I may be casting a majority of these games by myself once we get a little further in, but we'll see how he does. We did see that 2Week had canceled the refinery he had going up on his second geyser, so I'm not sure if he decided to do a quick tech build switch in the middle of kind of getting that up and running, or if he actually did that by mistake. But it does look like we are going to see Gemini able to keep that probe inside of 2Week's base, so he is going to be aware of what's going on at least for a while longer. And it looks like the second geyser is going up with the refinery right now. And 2Week does have an SCV inside the base of Gemini still, so he is going to get as much scouting information as he needs. And it looks like he had to move his barracks over so that he could put this tech add-on. I'm not sure exactly why, because the tech add-on is the same size as the supply depot, so if he had moved his barracks over to where this tech add-on is, he should have been able to build that tech add-on and create the wall off there without having to do the extra supply depot. But one Marine now chasing down this SCV that's trying to scout inside his base, trying to take him down there. But that SCV is getting away for the time being, although with the hard wall off, he is not going to be able to get out of that base. And one Marauder popping out finishes him off on the spot. So it looks like we do have an early factory going up. So, and Gemini saying Marauder Pawn. So he was able to smoke that SCV with that Marauder. But anyways, we do see a factory going up for Gemini now. So we may see some quick tech here to the air. Very common in Terran versus Terran. Banshees and Vikings are probably some of the most common units used in this matchup. But we'll see if that's indeed what happens, or if we see some more standard infantry with the medevac play, which is what it seems to be very, very popular in Terrans for just about every matchup right now. But it does look like both players have pretty good saturation on their mineral and gas right now, so we are going to move into a later macro game, and the starport now going up for Gemini, so it looks like we indeed are going to see some air units in the same for Black Rose right now. So both players teching very quickly, trying to get to those starport units so that they can get those Banshees and Vikings out. And Gemini doing a really good job so far, it looks like, of keeping the energy from his orbital command working for him constantly, just continuing to call down mules so that he can keep his economy up and running. If we take a look at the unit overlay here, we can see that There is a slight advantage for 2 Week on the SCVs right now, but it looks like the difference between that is there is a mule being used for Gemini right now, and 2 Week has opted to use the scan, as you could see there just a second ago. He's using that 50 energy to scout his opponent rather than trying to get extra minerals from those units. So he does have SCVs instead of using the mules right now, it looks like. And a tech lab going down for the starport from Black Rose, so it looks like we may be seeing some Banshees from Black Rose rather than the the Viking tech. But anyways, Black Rose, which is 2 Week, does have an extra command center up right now. He is going to move out and take that, which, as far as I can tell, yeah, Gemini does not look like he is getting set up to do a command center anytime soon. So we are going to see a little bit of a difference in the builds right now, and 2 Vikings coming out for Gemini at this point in time, and it looks like he's actually got a tank there too. Which tanks haven't been nearly as common in Terran versus Terran in StarCraft 2. If you remember in StarCraft 1 in Brood War, the Terran versus Terran matchup was all about vultures and tanks. But of course, the Terran versus Terran game is so much more dynamic in StarCraft 2. You don't see very many tanks, although the placement for this tank is very good. You can see in order to get any ground forces in this front entrance, it's almost impossible to get in there without getting through the range of the tank right there. So a definitely good placement with that tank, and it looks like we do have the first Viking out on the map for Gemini, and he's building a couple more with that reactor on there so that he can get those out extra quick. And I'm sorry, it looks like we got a little bit of lag going right here for JK Blue, which he's actually not one of the players. He's just spectating the game. But it looks like everything is back up and running. So anyways, going back to the game here, it looks like 2 Week does have his expansion up and running. So he is going to get a pretty big advantage on the income here very soon. Already about a 300 mineral advantage right now per minute, plus a little bit of right around 100 on the gas advantage. So we definitely need to see Gemini doing something to respond to this, whether it's taking his own expansion or countering and trying to take out the expansion that 2 Week has put up, because if he stays behind in the number of bases for too long, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to catch up if he does not respond by actually attacking or doing something. And it looks like he is going to move out his Vikings right now, doing a little bit of scouting, trying to see what's out on the map, and it looks like there is one Viking out for 2 Week as well. But he has not built any Banshees yet, which I'm kind of surprised to see. I expected Banshees when we saw the Tech Lab add-on come on here, but apparently he just built one Viking and decided to leave it at that as far as air superiority goes. Actually, a second Viking coming out